Chosen one, if you're watching this right now, consider it a timely and intentional moment. It is not by accident that you've arrived here. You are approaching a pivotal point in your personal and spiritual journey. This moment is marked by an inner and external transformation that may influence multiple aspects of your life spiritually, emotionally, physically, and even materially. Recent developments in your spiritual awareness have brought you to a crossroads, and what lies ahead could bring clarity, alignment, and tangible shifts. However, that progression hinges on an important factor: your readiness to protect and align your energy. The concept may sound abstract, but it connects directly to your decisions, especially around your daily habits, thoughts, and food choices. The message being shared here is not merely a set of motivational affirmations. It is a serious advisory, rooted in understanding how spiritual and energetic dynamics work within you. The next phase of your life is unfolding, and this transition demands that you become more intentional with what you consume physically and energetically. According to this message, specific foods, often overlooked, may act as barriers, subtly impacting your clarity, your emotional resilience, and your ability to access spiritual insight. The idea is that some substances may interfere with how your energy flows and how connected you remain to your higher calling. While this may seem surprising, it's part of a broader framework that links physical consumption to spiritual balance. From this perspective, tonight or any moment when you're seeking breakthrough is a critical time to honor that connection and take a more cautious approach. As this message outlines, transformation is not just a lofty concept. It's a process that includes letting go of things that no longer serve you. Whether they are foods that dull your intuition or habits that clutter your clarity, the time has come to release those influences. When you do, you may start to notice not only a shift in your energy, but also a broader alignment with what you've been praying or hoping for. That includes clarity in decisions, emotional balance, renewed purpose, and even progress in areas like health or finances. In this transformation, a foundational point is emphasized. Avoid certain foods that may disrupt your spiritual or energetic flow. These aren't just health tips. They are described as energetic and spiritual protectors. The claim here is that avoiding even a small amount of such substances can protect your spiritual trajectory and prevent disruptions that could delay the blessings or clarity you're seeking. As someone who may feel called to higher service or deeper spiritual insight, it's essential to view food not only through a nutritional lens, but also through a vibrational one. Some foods may lower your vibration, making you more prone to emotional imbalance, fatigue, or mental fog. Others may uplift and nourish you on multiple levels. In this context, alignment isn't just about meditation or prayer. It's also about the physical choices that either support or obstruct your energetic health. And tonight, the message is clear. Choose alignment. Choose clarity. This message also highlights that a divine opportunity is emerging. For those willing to listen and act intentionally, this time offers more than reflection, it offers activation. This activation is not dramatic or sensationalized. Rather, it's a result of consistency, discipline, and conscious awareness. And it starts with the seemingly simple act of watching what you consume. Understanding which foods may compromise this journey is essential. According to the message, these include processed items filled with chemical additives, refined sugars, and other artificial components. These foods are framed not just as unhealthy, but as spiritually disruptive. They may create internal blockages, energetic or emotional, making it difficult to maintain focus, peace, or connection. When you're seeking a breakthrough, whether it's emotional, spiritual, or practical, even small choices make a difference. The body and the spirit are connected, and interference in one often shows up in the other. When you feel out of sync, that could be a sign that something in your internal environment, possibly the food you eat, is contributing to the miscellment. To address this, spiritual cleansing is recommended. But rather than relying on rituals alone, this cleansing involves practical steps, starting with removing foods that are chemically laden, overly processed, or energetically draining. As you do, the message suggests you will begin to feel lighter mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. This isn't about restriction for the sake of hardship. It's about making space, removing what dulls your spirit so that what uplifts it can come through. Many individuals carry energetic burdens for years without recognizing their source. Sometimes those burdens are tied to external relationships or internal habits, but just as often, they are connected to physical consumption. Each choice you make becomes an entry point for either clarity or confusion. When processed foods dominate your intake, their effects go beyond weight or physical health. They may influence your thinking, your emotional reactions, and even your capacity to trust your intuition. This is especially important for those who are considered spiritually sensitive or chosen to lead or guide others. As a chosen one, your energy field is more reactive and more finely tuned. What might be tolerable for others can create significant disturbances for you. That's why greater care and discernment are needed. In particular, meat products are often highlighted in this message for their potential to carry emotional and energetic imprints. The emphasis is on how the conditions in which animals are raised and processed, especially environments filled with stress or suffering, can carry over into the food consumed. From a spiritual perspective, consuming such energy-laden meat can result in emotional heaviness, mental fog, or spiritual disconnection. The alternative offered is not necessarily complete avoidance, but conscious sourcing. That means understanding where your food comes from and choosing options that are ethically produced or plant-based when possible. The goal is to reduce energetic interference and restore clarity. Likewise, genetically modified grains and overly refined carbohydrates are called out as potential disruptors. They may affect not only digestion or physical comfort, but also the natural flow of energy in the body. Symptoms like indecision, apathy, or recurring doubt are interpreted here as not just psychological events, but as signs of energetic disruption that may be traced back to diet. If you've ever experienced a period of mental fog, low motivation, or spiritual dryness, it's worth examining what you're feeding your body during that time. In many spiritual frameworks, what you eat influences not only your body's performance, but also your mood, your thoughts, and your receptivity to spiritual guidance. The same goes for sweet and artificially filled foods, candies, sugar-laden pastries, and processed snacks. These products may offer short-term pleasure, but are often linked to energy crashes, unstable moods, and long-term spiritual dullness. In the lens presented here, such foods act as emotional pacifiers that disconnect you from a deeper sense of presence or awareness. Instead of viewing these choices as restrictions, they're reframed as tools for empowerment. By avoiding foods that disrupt your energy, you gain clarity. By gaining clarity, you become more attuned to your purpose. And by aligning with your purpose, you create a more fulfilling life. At its core, this message is not only about food. It's about honoring yourself, your body, your energy, your calling. The message points to the importance of recognizing how even daily routines and common habits can influence your spiritual path. The message concludes Part 1 with a clear call for awareness and action. If your intention is to move forward in clarity, abundance, and purpose, your choices today will shape your path tomorrow. You do not need to overhaul your life overnight, but you are invited to begin with one conscious decision at a time. This marks the close of Part 1. When you're ready, Part 2 will continue from here, diving deeper into the transformational outcomes and next steps for spiritual and physical alignment. As we continue from where we left off, It's important to understand that spiritual alignment isn't an isolated experience. It's a series of consistent decisions that reinforce clarity and remove obstacles internally and externally. For the chosen one, these decisions often seem simple on the surface: what to eat, who to engage with, how to rest, but each carries long-term influence over your spiritual and emotional capacity. Let's begin with what happens when you start implementing the shifts discussed in Part 1. You may first experience moments of discomfort. Your body, accustomed to certain foods, may resist. Your emotions, long dependent on quick gratification, may feel unsettled. But chosen one, this is not a setback. This is recalibration. What you're doing is teaching your system a new rhythm, one built not around stress or reaction, but around presence and peace. As this process continues, a deeper sense of balance begins to emerge. You may begin to notice changes in your sleep, your thoughts, your physical energy. These are signs of restoration. They are signs that your spirit and body are coming into greater alignment. This alignment isn't only about personal peace. It's about spiritual sensitivity. When the body is nourished and calm, it creates space for deeper awareness. That means you begin to perceive things you hadn't noticed before: patterns in relationships, messages in dreams, clarity in choices. You may find that decisions you once labored over now feel clear. That's because clarity thrives where distraction is removed. One of the most commonly reported outcomes from people who shift their diet and prioritize energy-conscious living is enhanced intuition. They feel more connected, more aware of their surroundings, and more prepared to respond to life with grounded action rather than reactive emotion. This does not make you invincible. Challenges will still come, but now you'll face them with discernment rather than confusion. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" your inner posture shifts to, "What is this revealing to me?" That shift in mindset is everything. It turns struggle into insight. It turns resistance into refinement. The message here emphasizes that divine timing is never random. Every moment of transition, including dietary or lifestyle changes, is part of a broader preparation. You are not just improving your habits, you are preparing your body and mind to host something greater: wisdom, clarity, peace, and spiritual responsibility. With this preparation comes increased responsibility. Chosen ones are not only called to live differently, but also to model a different standard. That doesn't mean you're perfect. It means you live with intention. You understand that your choices impact your vibration. Your vibration impacts your clarity, and your clarity impacts your destiny. As you progress, you may also notice changes in your relationships. Some will evolve and grow alongside you. Others may fade. This is natural. Not everyone is meant to walk with you into every season. The spiritual journey often creates new boundaries, not out of pride, but out of preservation. There will be moments when people don't understand why you no longer engage in certain conversations or environments. That's okay. Your responsibility is not to convince others. Your responsibility is to stay aligned. In time, the outcomes of your choices will speak for themselves. For many people on this journey, the adjustment to new food choices is the most challenging part. But again, this isn't about adopting a specific diet or subscribing to trends. It's about listening to your body, tuning into your spirit, and recognizing which foods elevate your state and which ones diminish it. Whole foods, fruits, vegetables, legumes, herbs are highlighted here not because they're fashionable, but because they contain fewer blockages. Their energy is closer to the earth. They often carry vibrational clarity that helps you feel grounded and nourished. They don't just satisfy hunger, they support function. On the other hand, overly processed foods, foods filled with sugar, excess oil, or artificial flavorings often create what this message refers to as energetic static. They fill you up, but leave you feeling disconnected, foggy, or emotionally unbalanced. You may even notice that after eating certain meals, your motivation decreases or your ability to concentrate weakens. These are not coincidences. They are signs that your physical and energetic systems are not aligned. And for someone walking the path of spiritual awareness, these signs matter. Over time, as your sensitivity increases, you'll develop a form of internal discernment. You'll intuitively know what supports your clarity and what disrupts it. This isn't mystical, it's biological and spiritual awareness. Working together, this growing awareness can also apply to how you begin your day. If you've started your morning in stillness, prayer, or reflection, and then immediately disrupt it with overstimulating food or chaotic content, you may notice a disconnect. That's your spirit asking for consistency. To protect your clarity, you must build practices that reinforce what you've been cultivating. That means choosing meals, routines, and habits that support your internal state. The goal is to avoid resetting your energy every day because of preventable disruptions. This concept extends beyond food and includes how you manage your digital consumption, the conversations you participate in, and even the environments you enter. For chosen ones, energy hygiene is just as important as physical hygiene. You are being asked to protect your clarity like a sacred resource, because that's exactly what it is. Your clarity is what guides your decisions, aligns you with divine timing, and alerts you to when something is off. It's the tool that helps you discern between delay and preparation, between distraction and direction. Losing it, even temporarily, can result in unnecessary detours. That's why this message matters. Not because it's new information, but because it's timely. You're entering a phase where preparation meets opportunity, where what you've been praying for may begin to appear. And when it does, you'll want to be fully ready spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. This is not just a shift in lifestyle, it's a shift in identity. You are no longer someone waiting for things to change. You are someone creating change through daily decisions. That includes what you eat, how you think, how you rest, and how you protect your peace. One of the final insights this message offers is the power of simplicity. The journey towards spiritual clarity is not complicated. It is consistent. It is honest. It is aligned. You are not being asked to adopt perfection. You are being asked to adopt presence, to become deeply aware of how your body feels, how your thoughts flow, and how your spirit responds. That awareness will guide you into deeper peace and stronger decisions. And as you continue walking in this way, others may begin to notice, not because you told them, but because your presence carries a different energy. You will start to attract people, opportunities, and environments that match your clarity. That is alignment. That is purpose in motion. So what does this mean for you, chosen one? It means you're no longer just aware. You're activated. It means you're no longer just observing. You're embodying. It means you're no longer delaying, you're deciding. And those decisions are building a future that reflects your inner work. A life where peace is not temporary, but consistent. Where clarity is not an accident, but a result. Where spiritual connection is not just something you seek, but something you carry. As this message concludes, let this be a reminder. You do not need external validation to confirm what you already know. You are being guided. You are being refined. You are being prepared for something greater than what you see now. Trust the process. Honor your body. Protect your energy. And walk in alignment, not as a trend, but as a way of life. Because for the chosen one, clarity is not optional. It's essential. You're not waiting for the right moment. You are the right moment. Now step forward clear, grounded, and aligned. Now that you've taken the necessary steps to refine your energy, Protect your clarity and embrace your position as one who is spiritually aligned. The path ahead becomes less about acquiring and more about sustaining. This is the place many overlook. They arrive at clarity, they touch breakthrough, but without a foundation of consistency, they slip back into cycles of imbalance. That is not your story. Not anymore. Chosen one, your alignment is not a temporary peak. It is becoming your normal. You have been called not just to experience alignment in flashes, but to carry it consistently. And to do that, you must understand that sustainability comes from structure. Not rigid control, but intentional rhythms, daily choices that guard your energy and protect the atmosphere you've cultivated. Sustainability starts with routines that reinforce your clarity. This includes intentional morning practices, conscious food consumption, disciplined boundaries with digital input, and time spent in silence or prayer. These are not lofty ideals, they are tools. Used wisely, they will continue to reinforce what you've been building internally. The journey you're on now does not require more effort. It requires more focus, more honesty, more self-awareness. This is where you begin to see that much of what once overwhelmed you was not inherently powerful. It only held power because of your access. When you remove access, you reclaim authority. And with that authority, you begin to lead your own energy rather than being led by external pressures. This next chapter is about walking in what you've already received. You are not waiting for clarity to fall from the sky. You have cultivated it. Now the question becomes, can you maintain it? You will know the answer not by how loud you speak, but by how you live. By how you respond to tension without losing your grounding. By how you prioritize rest, knowing your peace is productive. By how you protect your space, even when others may not understand it. Spiritual maturity is not measured by how much you know. It is seen in how you move. Quiet, steady, intentional. And as this steadiness grows, your influence will naturally expand. Not because you demanded attention, but because you became trustworthy with clarity. This is a turning point. Your consistency becomes your message. Your alignment becomes your invitation. People begin to notice, not because of what you're doing, but because of who you've become. But with that visibility comes temptation. The temptation to overextend, to say yes out of obligation, to prove yourself again. You must resist that, because your clarity is not something you should spend recklessly. It is to be stewarded, guarded, and poured out where it matters. That means you won't always be available. And that is okay. You are not missing opportunities. You are curating alignment. You are not being distant. You are being intentional. You are not withholding love. You are protecting capacity. This is the mindset that separates cycles from seasons. When you live in cycles, everything feels repetitive and exhausting. But when you honor seasons, you begin to flow. You plant when it's time to plant. You rest when it's time to rest. You release when it's time to release. This rhythm produces peace. For many, peace feels unfamiliar because chaos has been normalized. But chosen one, your new normal is clarity. Your standard is peace. You no longer need to earn your right to rest, your right to discern, your right to walk away from what does not align. These are not luxuries. They are necessities. And those necessities are how you now lead. Not with force, but with flow. Not with noise, but with presence. Presence will open doors that pressure never could. Presence will attract opportunities that striving never sustained. Presence will guide you to solutions that stress only complicates. As this presence increases, so will your discernment. You'll be able to see people and situations clearly, not through suspicion, but through wisdom. You will stop explaining what no longer needs to be justified. You will stop proving what is already self-evident. You will begin conserving energy because you'll know where your energy is most valuable. This is the fruit of spiritual clarity. This is what alignment offers. Not a perfect life, but a present life. Not a life without challenges, but a life where you meet those challenges with groundedness and peace. And while others may still look for external validation, you will be guided by inner confirmation. You will be moved by purpose, not popularity, by truth, not trend. That clarity will anchor your relationships, refine your goals, and sharpen your sense of timing. No longer will you rush into what is not yours. No longer will you stay in what you've outgrown. You will listen closely and act precisely. And if resistance comes, because it will remember this, resistance does not mean you are off track. Often, it is confirmation that you are no longer available for dysfunction, that your growth is disrupting stagnation, that your boundaries are unsettling imbalance. Stay the course. Continue to choose peace. Continue to feed your clarity. Continue to treat your body and mind as sacred. Because every moment of consistency is not just preparation, it's impact. Whether seen or unseen, you are planting seeds with every aligned decision. And those seeds grow first inwardly, then outwardly. You will notice it in your relationships, how they deepen or fade depending on whether they can hold your growth. You will see it in your environment, how certain places will feel nourishing, while others will feel draining. You will feel it in your body, how certain foods give you clarity, and others cloud your mind. All of it is feedback, and the more you listen, the less confused you'll be. This is not about becoming perfect. It's about becoming present. And presence gives you permission to navigate life without reacting to every disruption. You'll know when to engage and when to detach, when to speak and when to observe, when to step forward and when to wait. That kind of wisdom cannot be downloaded. It is cultivated through stillness, through intention, through practice, and that's what this season is for. This is the season where you walk in what you've built internally, where your energy becomes more focused, where your presence becomes more impactful, where your words become fewer but more powerful. Because chosen one, you are no longer the version of yourself that tolerated misalignment. You no longer move from a place of proving, but from a place of peace. You no longer chase what doesn't match your vibration. You attract what reflects your healing. And if you ever feel overwhelmed, remember, your greatest weapon is your awareness. That awareness is not weakness, it is leadership. You now lead with energy. You lead with discernment. You lead by example. That is what makes you different. And that difference is not a burden. It's a signal that you were built to move differently. To think differently. To lead differently. And now, you do so not in hiding, but in truth. This is your time to live what you've learned, to embody the answers you once searched for, to become the calm in the room, the clarity in the confusion, the alignment in the chaos. Your life becomes the message, your energy becomes the evidence, and your peace becomes the platform. Let that be your legacy, not how loud you were, but how aligned you stayed, not how fast you moved, but how faithfully you walked. Not how much you had, but how well you stewarded what you were given. Chosen one, this is not just the end of a message. It is the beginning of a deeper walk. So take what resonates, leave what does, and single quotes to. And keep moving forward with clarity, intention, and peace. If this message reached you at a time when clarity was needed, let it be more than just something you listened to. Let it become something you live by. What you just received wasn't motivational noise or theoretical talk. It was a grounded reminder of what you already carry within you. The ability to discern, protect, and lead your own energy with purpose. Now that this understanding has been restored, the next step is yours. Chosen one, it is time to act, not just in dramatic moments, but in the quiet decisions that build your future. You don't need to change everything at once. You simply need to continue making choices that honor the clarity you've worked so hard to gain. Start with small, consistent actions. Reevaluate what you consume, not only in food, but in conversations, content, and environments. Surround yourself with what nourishes your body and your spirit. This isn't about restriction, it's about alignment. Your daily rhythm should reflect what you value most: peace, clarity, and purpose. If this video reminded you of your responsibility to your calling, then let that awareness drive your next decision. Subscribe to this channel, not for the sake of numbers, but because consistency matters on this journey. When you subscribe and turn on notifications, you ensure that the messages meant for you don't get lost in the noise of your digital world. Every message here is crafted with care to meet you exactly where you are, so you don't miss the instruction, the confirmation, or the encouragement you need at the right moment. Beyond that, consider who else might need this word. Someone in your circle is struggling silently. Someone is feeling the same weight, the same confusion, the same call for something more, and they need to hear what you've just heard. Don't underestimate the impact of simply sharing this video. That one action might unlock something for someone else that's been delayed for far too long. Your spiritual growth is personal, but it is not isolated. We grow best in environments that support transformation. By staying connected here, you position yourself within a community that values depth, truth, and healing. You'll continue to receive the kind of content that doesn't just entertain but elevates. So if you're ready to walk into your next season with clarity instead of confusion, alignment instead of exhaustion, and peace instead of pressure, make the decision now. Subscribe, stay connected, and revisit these messages when you need them, not just once, but again and again. That's how truth sinks in. That's how transformation becomes your new normal. Thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up for yourself. Your journey matters, and it's just beginning. We'll see you in the next message, clearer, stronger, and more grounded than ever before.